Let's take a moment to discuss the stakeholders of services and service management. That is, the people and organizations that have a stake in the value of a service. The provider is a stakeholder of the service for sure. They clearly have a stake in ensuring the service is something of value to consumers, that it is superior to alternatives, and that it helps consumers get their jobs to be done so that consumers take up the service. They also have a stake in ensuring the service can be delivered profitably. Consumers clearly also have a stake in the services they buy and use. This includes the customer, who defines the requirements for services and takes responsibility for the outcomes of service consumption. This could be the same or a different person than the sponsor who authorizes the budget for service consumption. The sponsor is a term also used to describe an organization or person providing financial or other support for an initiative. Then there is the user, the person who uses services. And there are other stakeholders like shareholders, the society and community at large, and charitable organizations. Lastly, there are suppliers who are responsible for providing services that a provider organization uses to provide their own services. They too have a stake in the value of the services provided and consumed. All stakeholders have a stake in the service and its outcomes and want to get value out of the service either through its provision or its consumption. Services deliver value by delivering outcomes stakeholders want. So what is value and what's an outcome? Well, value is the perceived benefits, usefulness, and importance of something to a stakeholder. So it's essential to see that value is in the stakeholder's mind, which means that it involves both reality and perception, and therefore both must be managed for a service. An outcome is a result for a stakeholder enabled by one or more outputs, where outputs are tangible or intangible deliverables. You know the difference between an output and an outcome. The outcome you want, for example, for a haircut is my hair looks good versus just the output. The box checked, haircut complete. The value of a service is what customers seek, and that value resides in the customer's mind. This means that value has a subjective quality. In other words, as a service provider to provide value you must deliver both good reality and good perception. Having one or the other good reality or good perception is necessary, but not sufficient to produce value. And value changes over time due to technology changes, available alternatives, and changing customer needs and context. This means your service management capability must include systems for ensuring both good reality and good perception over time and changing circumstances. One other note here on value. In ITIL v3, value is depicted as flowing from the provider to the customer, like a package being delivered to a doorstep. In ITIL 4, value is seen as being co-created by all stakeholders flowing multidirectionally among all stakeholders. Hence the value is achieved through outcomes. It follows that outcomes should also flow multidirectionally among all stakeholders. From now on, we'll depict value and outcomes this way. To succeed at services, you must be able to manage them so that critical outcomes and value are realized. This is where service management comes in, and that brings us to IT, service management or ITSM, which ITIL defines as implementing and managing the quality of IT services that provide the value stakeholders seek. These specialized organizational capabilities include organizations and people, including management and knowledge, information and technology partners and suppliers and value streams and processes. So, how do we help customers achieve outcomes? Through services, yes, but also through our IT service management activities and practices. A practice is a set of organizational resources designed to perform work or accomplish an objective. You can think of a practice as capabilities, any resource needed to deliver an outcome. People, capital, tools, skills, competencies, partner and supplier contracts, culture, and so on. A practice can include processes, but is more than just a process and different from a function or department because people can engage in practices without there having to be an organizational unit or function for IT. So that's it. IT service providers provide IT services. They provide value to stakeholders by helping them achieve the outcomes they seek, while lowering and hiding the details of costs and risks versus the consumer doing it themselves or versus alternatives. That value flows unidirectionally in ITIL v3 from provided to a customer but multidirectionally in ITIL 4, which features a value co-creation concept. Value is a function of services and IT service management and its practices.